My name is Mary DeVos, née Phelan, Mary Veronica DeVos. I was born in 1935 in a lovely little country town in East Gippsland. Myself and my 4 siblings had a very happy life in Bairnsdale with our parents, Jack and Eve, Dad being the local high school teacher, and Mum was from the farming area. And the thing was that we stayed there until I was about 14 or 15, when I came to town and went to boarding school for the last year of my education. And unfortunately had to drop out because Dad was in bad health, and my brother and I decided we should go out and help pay the bills. Of course, I didn't mind school. I quite enjoyed subjects and the company at school. What I didn't really like was nuns, who I never really could understand what exactly they were and how they fitted into life, and they didn't add to my enjoyment of school days. Well, the thing is, my teenage years were the most tough years for my parents. So the thing was that fortunately I had this long-term job, of which I was quite enjoying the company, not that I did a lot of work, but there seemed to be a lot of young people employed around me at the same time. And the bank had things like the rowing club, the cricket club, the all sorts of different clubs that we could also join up for their functions. And no end of 21st birthday parties, engagement parties and weddings and all that kind of thing. So I had a great social life. As far as going to dancing and coming home late, there was always a continuous row coming from the bedroom. Where have you been till this hour? What could you have possibly been doing till this hour? And you know, all this row that went on about my not going out with Catholics, which was devastating to them, you know. I actually had some broken romances, which I put down to mostly my mother. I was going out with a guy in a tennis club who was very, like a perfect match, I would have said, 8 years older than me, and an engineer of some kind, and a A-grade tennis player, and we belonged to tennis club. And I found out when I was 44, my mother said to me, "Remember that fellow that you liked in the tennis club?" I said, "Yes. I saw him every day while I was going with him." And she said, "He came to me one day and said, 'I'd like to marry Mary, and I'd like to be engaged when she's 19 and we'll get married when she's 21. She said, "She's a bit of a kid. Now you come back when she's 21. He disappeared. I never knew why until I was 44. I was totally shattered. Because I was in shock, I actually didn't talk to anybody for 6 months because I didn't know. I thought, could never work it out when he actually was more or less proposing to me and then disappeared. I went into working for Federal Hotels as a receptionist in the accommodation area, where I met my husband-to-be, who was here from then called Ceylon, because he was taking an interest in business investments. And actually I happened to fall in love with him, and so we kind of eloped back to Ceylon, where we got married and had 5 wonderful children, RPTC and A. They're the initials of my 5 children that popped out one after the other, and all healthy, no problems. And I consider that I had these lovely children, and I just consider that's my main achievement. I can't think of anything I did after that time that I felt so gratified about. I had no choices. I had to make ends meet. So I really just didn't have choices, you know. It was either don't pay the rent and get booted out, and then there's other people to consider, you know, that really just don't have choices. That's sort of like regret, like why couldn't you have done better for yourself? I mean, I did a year of open learning to try to do fine arts, only for about a year, because this person I was seeing at the time, he said, just forget that. So that's how I tried to improve myself, but that didn't last long. Just have to stay as I am. What you see is what you get.